After a day off, your Saints were back in full swing for their third and final week of training camp there at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the New Orleans Saints training camp show here on CST. I'm Caroline Gonzalez, joined by NewOrleansSaints.com senior writer John DeShazier. JD, I hear there was a certain spotlight on someone at practice today.
Yeah, well, I graced them again with my beautiful face, but mine was not the one that they were looking forward to seeing. Running back Alvin Kamara back on the practice field for the day. He looked springy, he looked fresh, he looked spry, he interacted with his teammates fairly well, so it was good to see one of the Saints' best offensive weapons back on the practice field.
Well, we were happy to see you out there, and Sean Payton was certainly happy to see AK back out there on the field.
No, look, it was good having him back out there. I thought he had a good practice today, and he's an important part of what we do. We're actively negotiating a contract with he and his agent, and we'll keep you posted if there's any progress.
It was a day full of smiling faces out there at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center, JD. I hear that Marcus Davenport was also back for the Saints. Did you ever get an idea of why he was out for the Saints?
Well, he's a little dinged up. He's had an arm wrap on, and so obviously he's got an injury that he's dealing with. However, to get him back on that defensive line rotation adds to the Saints' depth. It should help effectiveness, and obviously you want him back on the field before the regular season opener.
No, listen, I think he's doing well. I think he's had a real good camp. So I don't think he's fallen behind. We backed off some reps probably a few days ago, just relative to a small injury, but nothing significant. Nothing that would certainly keep him from playing week one.
Well, it wasn't just players that were excited to be back at practice. Saints owner Gail Benson returned to the Ochsner Sports Performance Center after being diagnosed with COVID-19 earlier last week. She didn't show any symptoms, but she spent time at home, but was reunited with Sean Payton and the Saints back at practice.
It was good to see her. She's feeling better. I know she was excited to finally be able to get out and be around our players, and she's feeling good. And yeah, obviously, anytime someone's gone through it, you love to see them back and in good health and good spirits, and I would describe our visit that way. It was great seeing her.
All right, when we come back, we will hear from Saints quarterback Jameis Winston. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the New Orleans Saints training camp show on CST. Hi everyone, welcome back into the New Orleans Saints training camp show here on CST. I'm Caroline Gonzalez alongside our senior reporter John DeShazier. JD, the quarterback conversation is certainly something that everyone's been talking about. You have Drew Brees, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston. How are they developing in that quarterback room?
Well, I mean, Drew Brees is the unquestioned starter. We already know that. So Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are basically, I don't want to say a slugfest, but they're after that number 2 spot, and Jameis Winston really has been at a disadvantage if you want to think about it, because he's been with another system for 5 years. He came this year when it happened to be, in the middle of a pandemic. So all of those reps he would have gotten in OTAs and in quarterback school and in minicamp, he didn't get those snaps. He didn't get that familiarity with his teammates and this offense. So that's what he's trying to catch up to. And Coach Sean Payton believes that that's exactly what Jameis Winston is doing, is catching up to this offense.
I think he's doing well. I think he's doing real well. I've been pleased. Man, he's in good shape. I think he's very quickly picked up what we're doing from a system standpoint, and yet there are a number of things that he continues to work on to improve. But I think he's made that transition with us pretty quickly. He's a smart player, and we just got to continue to give him the reps. And I thought, well, throughout camp, with just 3 quarterbacks, we've been able to do that to some extent, and then even more so today.
Well, Jameis Winston certainly has his work cut out for him in this offense, but he seems to be adjusting accordingly.
Well, my main goal is to come in and do the best I possibly can. And when you got 2 great quarterbacks who's been in this system for a long time, one of them for a particularly long time, you get a chance to gain experience by seeing them, by getting visual reps and actually doing the reps yourself.
JD, obviously you talked about Jameis Winston just a moment ago, but how do you think he specifically is learning this playbook and adjusting to performing in this playbook with guys alongside him like Drew Brees and Taysom Hill?
Well, we know one thing the Saints like are smart football players, and Jameis Winston seems to be a smart football player. Now, even he came in and compared this to going to a Harvard education from Tampa Bay. And that's no slight to Tampa Bay and what they were doing, but obviously learning a new offense, he knows how complex it is. So he said it compared to being, going to a Harvard education. And certainly he's got great professors in Sean Payton and in Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They haven't shortchanged me one bit, and Taysom's included in that mix. Like I said, this coaching staff, offensively, these quarterbacks, our quarterback room is probably one of the best quarterback rooms in the league. So I'm definitely blessed to be a part of that group.
JD, we've heard from quarterbacks coach Joe Lombardi and Sean Payton that they really like the development and decision making they've seen from quarterback Jameis Winston. Have you seen something along those lines?
Well, you want to see that development because, in Tampa Bay, that was one of the knocks on Jameis Winston, that he would turn over the football. Last year, the first 30-30 season in NFL history, 30-plus touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So that's the thing with him. Quarterbacks need to take care of the football. It's the most important thing about football, and Jameis Winston didn't do a great job of it in Tampa Bay, and it's one of the things that the Saints want to see if he can do better with them.
Well, Jameis spoke following practice today, like I said, and he said he's just going to go out there and play football, but he still wants to put an emphasis on his decision making.
I think it's a happy medium in that I'm never going to shy away from playing the football the way that I know how to play. But within that, like I said, man, you get to learn from a guy that does it so well, and you get to talk to him about situations that he will take a chance versus situations that he will not. So I think that's great to just see him and visualize myself doing the same thing.
Well, something we've heard about all training camp has been the Saints defense, and they are certainly bringing out the competitive spirit in everyone, especially Jameis Winston.
I think the best thing about our defense as a whole is the competitiveness, the live action, how we're really going after it during practice. And it goes beyond practice, man. We're taking the competitive side on the field into the locker room. And anytime that you got guys that are willing to talk about the details and bring that competition from on the football field into the locker room and really joke about it, have fun about it, but really be intentional about what they're saying, it's really fun to be around. It really makes the atmosphere contagious. And our defense, I played against this defense for a long time, and you love the way that they handle the disciplines of being defense. They run to the football, they find a way to create turnovers, and they stop the run. So being able to practice against this defense is definitely big for any quarterback.
All right, when we come back, we'll hear about the Saints and their practice plans for the rest of the week. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Saints Training Camp Show here on CST. Hi everyone, welcome back into the New Orleans Saints Training Camp Show here on CST. I'm Caroline Gonzalez alongside my trusty partner in John DeShazier. JD, I hear that the Saints are planning to go downtown, closer to us, in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Yeah, the Saints wanted to have 2 practices in the Superdome. Tomorrow, Thursday, will be another practice in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. This one might be a little bit more physical than the previous one. However, they want to get acclimated to the surface. They want to get acclimated to the surroundings. They know they'll probably be playing the first regular season game without fans. So all of those things they can get a bit more accustomed to in the Superdome.
Well, we'll hear from Sean Payton on his thoughts ahead of practice inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
We're going to try to get a lot of move the ball periods in. One of the things that I think is going to be important for every team in this league week 1 is the substitutions. It's not uncommon in the preseason where periodically you're missing a guy or you have 12 on the field. All of those mistakes, really have to be eliminated. And even today, we went through a few different periods where we were in and out, on and off with different personnel groups. So tomorrow's goal is to get a lot of move the ball in. It won't be a completely live scrimmage, but but it will be full go. And yeah, we'll meet on that today and kind of go through the different roles and the different substitutions.
JD, as we mentioned earlier in the show, a smiling face, maybe with a grill on it, and Alvin Kamara was back for the Saints today. Who else was back for the Saints?
I'll tell you what, we had so much happening today, I'm going to need my notepad for it, okay? So Drew Brees didn't practice today. He had on a baseball cap but didn't participate in practice. Cesar Ruiz, the rookie offensive lineman, again did not practice. Teron Armstead, left tackle, did not practice. Guys who returned included Malcolm Jenkins, the safety. We also saw Latavius Murray and Chase Hansen. Both of those guys had on red jerseys, non-contact jerseys, even though it was a non-contact practice, but that was just to make sure that their teammates knew to pretty much kind of hands off with them. And so that pretty much encompasses all of the guys who were or were not on the field at practice today.
Well, we're 11 days out from the first game inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, so we'll certainly continue to keep an eye on those players for the New Orleans Saints. All right, that'll do it for the Wednesday edition of your New Orleans Saints Training Camp show here on CST. We'll be back tomorrow. For John DeShazier, Caroline Gonzalez, thanks for joining us.